This is the Agricultural Training Institute. We are the training arm of the Department of Agriculture since 1987. We are the premier institution managing the country's extension services. We uphold leadership in agricultural extension through our network of 16 training centers located at the heart of rural communities across the country. We equip extension workers, farmers, and other key players in agriculture with outcome-based knowledge and skills. Our services are anchored on 6 thematic platforms of our core functions. We synergize agriculture with informed and capable professionals, the farmers, the fishers, and their families, infusing them with knowledge, developing their skills with the mindset to make a difference in their community. Our passion to serve finds fulfillment as we inform, support, and sustain the growth of urban and rural communities. We connect with partners in agriculture to uplift the human capital and hasten socio-economic progress. This is the Agricultural Training Institute today. We are providing excellent extension services beyond boundaries.
This is the Manila Bulletin, traversing time and truth since 1900, the newspaper with a century-long legacy of standing witness to the country's history and development. The Manila Bulletin's strong commitment to delivering news and information to the Filipino nation is a testament to its role in nation building and empowering the Filipino people. The Manila Bulletin tells timely stories and timeless truths. And this is its story. At the beginning of the 20th century, at the heart of the sprawling New American Center in Southeast Asia, 2 Americans, Carson C. Taylor and H.G. Farvis, organized a shipping and commercial publication and called it the Daily Bulletin. It was renamed as the Manila Daily Bulletin in 1906. In 1957, the Manila Daily Bulletin became a Filipino-owned publication after it was acquired by Menzi and Company. Its publisher, Hans Menzi, laid the foundations of the broadsheet as the exponent of Philippine progress. In 1961, philanthropist and business tycoon Dr. Emilio T. Yap was elected director and vice chairman. Don Emilio was named chairman of the board in 1982. Under his leadership, the Manila Bulletin was ushered in a new era of journalism to become the nation's leading newspaper by investing in a computerized editorial system, the first in Asia, and started publishing its full-color issue. Today, the Manila Bulletin is headed and managed by Chairman Basilio Yap and Dr. Emilio C. Yap III. The Manila Bulletin continues to chronicle the Philippines' current events and milestones. During the Japanese occupation in 1942, the Manila Daily Bulletin was forced to stop its operations, and in 1945, the Carriedo offices were reduced to rubble during the brutal Battle of Manila. When the late President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law, the Manila Daily Bulletin ceased its operations once again, but after 2 months, it reopened and was renamed the Bulletin Today. In 1977, Bulletin Today upgraded its printing facilities, moved into its own and current location in Morales Street in Intramuros, and diversified its reach through the Philippine Panorama, its Sunday magazine, and Tempo and Balita, its tabloid publications. As readers are in search for more diversified and specialized content, the Manila Bulletin launched several magazines and digests, such as Agriculture, Animal Scene, and Going Places. It also acquired local and vernacular favorites, such as Liwayway, Hiligaynon, Bisaya, and Banawa. The Manila Bulletin transformed itself into a multi-platform media provider and innovated the newspaper reading experience by integrating special executions in its publications, including a 3D edition, NFC, QR codes, pop-ups, false covers, and belly bands. The Manila Bulletin also opened digital platforms such as a website, app, and e-paper. Its website is one of the most visited and trusted Philippine news websites in the country. Its Facebook and Twitter accounts and YouTube channel are one of the most accessed in social media, engaging the young generation of news and information consumers. Today, the Manila Bulletin strives to make the nation be fully informed, at the same time uplifting the Filipino spirit through There's Good News Here. This is the Manila Bulletin, and the Manila Bulletin will continue to inform, inspire, empower, telling timely stories and timeless truths through this century and beyond.
Agri in Central Visayas, welcome to Agritalk's 2022's Cornversations. This episode runs from June 28 to 30. This year marks the 4th year of Agritalk in Region 7. It started with 2 face-to-face conducted over SM in Cebu City and Robinsons in Dumaguete City respectively. With the height of the pandemic in 2020 until last year, Agritalk will be done virtually due to reasons of protocols, where convening 150 participants in one venue is a challenge. Thus, this year's Agritalk features Cornversations, a 3-episode highlighting status and direction of the corn industry in the Philippines and corn production technology. At the same time, we will showcase the best practices of Ursulo Taganahan, corn farmer based in Barangay Cabanbanan, Dimiao, Bohol. Let me reiterate that our Agripa Premio portion is still on the run, and this time we have 10 lucky winners in each episode who will be receiving prepaid loads. So please do stick with us. Who knows, you will be one of the lucky winners. A total of 30 winners are expected to receive ATI in Central Visayas gifts. So sit back, relax while you watch and learn from our subject matter experts. So to start with the episode 1, let us welcome ATI in Central Visayas technical staff, who is the corn focal person in the region, a licensed agriculturist, Mr. Jeffrey Awas, who will be sharing the status and direction of the corn industry in the Philippines.
Hello mga ka-agri, mga kamais! Welcome to our Agritalk Cornversations. Ako dahil si Jeffrey Awas, technical staff as well as the corn coordinator of the Department of Agriculture, Agricultural Training Institute, Central Visayas. Atong pagaisgutan o pagatukoy-tukoyon ang kabahin sa mais. O karon, ari na ta sa status and direction of the corn industry in the Philippines and also in the Region 7 nga corn situationer. So before that, I would like to give the acknowledgement of this presentation sa ato ang National Corn Program. For the program components, na nato ang atong corn program nga gihandulan personally and both from the yellow and white corn. And aside sa corn program, under pod ana ang cassava, sorghum, and soybean, which is also a sub-program of the corn with the memorandum order of number 11 and 15. For the corn situationer, we have this 7.36% share at the agri-fishery sector, valued at 114 billion at constant prices in the year 2018. So we have this estimated physical area in the Philippines sa corn nga 1.25 million hectares, and with an estimated also number of farmers, mga corn farmers nga 1.13 million. And for the farm gate price, usually natas 2020 nga data ron, this was presented last year, 2021, but anyway, di man po ni siya dali-dali ma-change over the year. So, ang ato ang yellow corn grain nasa 12 pesos per kilogram, and with a white corn grain of 12 pesos per kilogram. And also sa ato ang Central Visayas, we have this corn grits kanang ato ang kanunon, atong gitawag nga bugas mais, nasa mga number 12 and 14 nga size, na nasa mga 40 to 45 pesos per kilo. Kung sa niluto nga atong gitawag nga tila ubon, mga 2-3 ka piraso ana na nasa mga 25 pesos, usually na nasa dawis daghano aning sa Bohol. And for the cassava nga farm gate price, we have this 10 to 15 pesos per kilo. And unsa may mga uses o mga purpose nga sa ato ang mais. Number 1 ana ang ato ang feeds. So it comprised of 76.23%. Nagsunod ana ang himuon natong staple kanato ang kanunon, which is 34%. Sa maong sirap, gamiton po nato ning ato ang mais with 1.96%. And sa starch, we have 1.88%. O napoy uban nga gamiton nato as oil, the corn oil, nga atong gamiton pagaprito sa mga kalalayng mga sudan, comprised of 0.44%. And ang ato ang corn flour, which is composed also of 0.15%. Og atong pagahisgutan ang mga corn producing regions. So sa atong mga top 5 nga producing regions, it contributed a 74.04% of the total corn production in the Philippines. So the rest na ana is mao na to mga ubang region nga wala na ma-appeal sa top 5, like sa Central Visayas nata sa part ani nga others kaning comprised of 26%. So number 1 na ana nga region ang Cagayan. Ang Cagayan Valley, na diha ang Isabela nga corn capital sa atong nasod. Cagayan is in Region 2. They comprise of 23% of corn production in the Philippines. Nagsunod na to ana ang Northern Mindanao, which is composed of 16%. So sa region, Northern Mindanao, mapo na tong gitawag nga Region 10. So apil na ang Bukidnon, Misamis Occidental, and Oriental, and including also the Lanao del Norte, mga gabawd-bawd ang atong mga corn area ara. In third place, mao ang BARM, also known as the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, which comprised of 14% sa ato ang corn. And next, ang Soc-Sargen, nga 14% pod. For the Soc-Sargen, it is also formerly known as the Central Mindanao or in Region 12. Nadia ang Cotabato, Sarangani, South Cotabato, and Sultan Kudarat. And for the Ilocos region, ang ato ang 7% nga naa sa region 1. So those are the corn producing regions. O kung ari na punta sa mga probinsya or provinces, we have also this top 5 producing provinces that contributed to 44.44% of the total corn production in the Philippines. So una na anang Isabela nga akong gi-mention kaganiha nga naay 14% nga sa region 2. Nagsunod diha ang Bukidnon 10%. Next sa Bukidnon ang Maguindanao nga naay 9%. And sunod sa Maguindanao ang Cagayan. This is Cagayan de Oro, which 6%. Ug ang atong Lanao del Sur, 5%. Now, the other provinces, apil na ato Central Visayas, na nato sa others, comprised of 56%. Ano na po ta sa yellow corn seed used and area. So, sa mga gipanggamit na ito nga klaseng binhi sa mais, comprised na ang GM corn nga na ay 49% nga ginagamit na tibok Philippines. So medyo luag-luag na ta sa ato ang gitawag nga GMO corn or the genetically modified organism nga corn. But for now, it is now technically used as LMO. Instead of GMO, gitawag na siyang LMO sa ato ang biotech. LMO, which means living modified organisms. So mananay gitawag sa mga GMO pagkakaron. After sa GM corn, ang atong mga farmers nagagamit na og hybrid comprised of 38%. Og nagsunod na diha ang mga OPV, the modern OPV nga na 11% nga ginamit sa atong mga farmers og ang atong mga native nga OPV or apila po diri ang mga traditional nga mga seeds or corn seeds. Now in Central Visayas or in Region 7, the Cebu province had the highest corn production. Dugay raning Cebu nato nga naa-adjud dako nga production sa maong mais. In fact, in the first semester of 2021, we have this 10,000 metric tons or comprised of 46.54% in Central Visayas alone. Gisundan na sa to ang Negros Oriental nga naay 9,428 metric tons. O third ang ato ang probinsya sa Bohol nga naay 1,657 metric tons. O lastly ang atong Siquijor kay gamay ra po ning area atong Siquijor, so nadyo sila sa pang-upat nga pwesto. So nara na sa Cebu and Negros Oriental magduwa to ang dagko nga mga corn production or volume sa corn. This source also is from the Philippine Statistic Authority in the Cebu Provincial Statistical Office. And kung sa kato 2021, we have also this first semester 2020, second semester nga 2020, o first semester nga 2021. As we can observe, nga by first semester or the first cropping season, naanas mga 10,000 metric tons ang ato ang Cebu. But in second semester, first, especially in the year 2020, mas dagko ani mga second cropping season ang ma-produce ato ang provincia. Like for in fact, in Cebu, we have this 54,000 in metric tons. And in Negros Oriental, 39,000 metric tons. Nagsunod diha gyapon ang Bohol and last ang Siquijor. But in Bohol, we are in number 1 po ta sa Central Visayas when it comes to rice or dipalay. Kita mo po heavy producer or heavy consumer of rice. But in Cebu, corn, Cebu ang naguna jud nato. That is why there were more interventions and trainings nga pakanakon usually in Cebu and Negros Oriental. But of course, di nato pasagdan ang ato ang Bohol ug ang Siquijor sa pagkandak og training sa mga farmers and AEWs. Now, it comes to feeds, ato nang gingon kaganiha nga mao ni ang dako nga porsyento no sa maong corn nga ginamit ang feeds mapababoy man or sa manok. Now, in the composition of hog feeds and poultry feeds, naadjud na ang grains nga comprised of 40%. Kaning grains mao na ni ang ato ang mais kauban. Dako jud kayo nga gamiton ang atong mais when it comes to feeds. Nagsunod diha atong soybean meal nga usually maga-import ta ani sa ubang nasod no kay di pa kayo kadaghanan tag production aning soybean sa Philippines. And then other parts or ingredients ato ang feeds mao ang mga byproducts which comprise of 20% like the Danish meal, fish meal nga pagamiton sa atong mga feed millers. Og magamit po sila mga molasses and cocoa oil which comprise of 10%. O kana mga others mao na kauban nato ang cassava. Apil ang cassava ana sa pagkuan. Una pa uban mga feather meal, mga liver meal ug bisig unsa pang mga gamit including also the micro ingredients nga ginamit sa atong mga feed millers. Now we will talk about the industry challenges of corn. Now there were so many challenges nga atong tubang, especially in agriculture, not just in agriculture but to the different sector in the Philippines, but in our parts atong agriculture, daghan jud kayo no nga atong mga challenging moment stepping stone po nato kasagaran. So una ana ang low yield in corn. So just imagine with the white corn we just have this 1.89 metric tons per hectare, while the yellow corn is 4.18 metric tons per hectare. So mao na yung mga kasagaran natong that is a low yield jud sa maong corn production nato. Source an is ang PSA of course in 2020. Aside from a low yield on corn, we have also a high cost of production. So una na nagkataasan ng mga inputs, especially this day sa ato ang complete fertilizer and even sa urea. Sa urea lang ta magisgot na natas mga 3,500 kapin per bag ang presyo. Just imagine kung katong mga last 2020 paubos or previous years napatas mga 1,500 per bag or even 1,000 per bag, pero karon it doubled or it tripled the price na jud. So our Department of Agriculture is looking forward to more solutions ana unsa una din po nato na gunit no kay world market na pud na very high in demand but low in supply, so that is why medyo nagkataas jud atong presyo ana. And ato nang gi-promote ang atong organic jud, atong paggamit og mga organic fertilizers or mga NFS nga mga concoctions and the bio-N. Isa jud ang bio-N nga atong gi-promote sa mga farmers karon. As in ana natay high cost of labor due to limited machineries and high interest rates from the informal lenders. So sa mga farmer nato nag-need jud ta og capital or money para sa to ang pag-atiman sa tong uma. So sometimes we borrow money to lenders og tag-as kayo sila og mga porsyento. But also in the Department of Agriculture, we offered also a kind of magpahuwam pod og kwarta sa mga farmers nga naa jud sa mga wala ra kaabot og 1% gani ang interest rate. Next, arita sa vulnerability to calamities. So, kita sa Pilipinas isa jud tas mga country nga baonon og labyan jud og mga bagyo. Just katong recent na tong nahitabo, Typhoon Odette nga ning damage jud taman sa Visayas ug Mindanao area. So di na to control ni, but we need to adapt and to mitigate. Especially in the Department of Agriculture, we have this the Adaptation and Mitigation Initiative in Agriculture, also known as the AMIA. Isa sila mo ni office sa DA nga nag-una jud sa pag-combat sa to ang climate resilient agriculture, or also in the CROW office sa DA. So una na ang flood damages, daghan na jud kaayo na, and drought to stress kung dili magbaha og taman ari puta sa mag-init og taman. And another is the emerging pest like the fall armyworm kung sa maong corn ug kung sa kasaba ang iyang sakit nga kasaba phytoplasma. So nagka-level up na pod og nagkakusog na pod ang ato ang mga insect pest nga sa una dili unta na sila maka damage og taman, pero karon perti na nilang damage. Ang fall armyworm is competing to the corn borer. So silang duha na jud actually kanon pagan ini fall armyworm no, iyang kapwa fall armyworm, and then kanon po takay ba basi pug ikaon po niya ang corn borer sa maong scenario. So very problematic ning fall armyworm, but this day medyo na control na nato na, and natay mga interventions ana nga gipabuhat sa mga fall armyworm. Aside of that, it is the low income of farmers due to mao na tong giyon kaganiya nga low yield, taas og cost of production, napadyoy mga calamities, mga unprecedented nga mga may tabo nato. That is why low income just atong farmers gamay ra jud makuwang abot sa atong farmers. Aside from the low income of farmers, we have this quality of produce nga low grain quality, especially during the wet cropping season due to limited post-harvest facilities and related infrastructures. Wala ta kayo ka-storan. Importante kayo ang storage facilities when it comes to harvesting. Kay para makaimbak ang tatagdugay nga months or panahon, pero due to limited nga post-harvest facilities, mas daling madaot ang ato ang binhi or ato ang mais. And also the low adoption of technology, especially sa tong farmers, na yung mga farmers jud nga they have to stick in their grown up knowledge or their indigenous knowledge when it comes to farming. And that is why the agricultural technologists or technicians are trying their best to disseminate information or technologies nga mao ni dapat unta ang buhaton sa farmers. But karon ato gyapon nang it's part of the challenges gyapon sa low adoption of technologies ato mga farmers. Now, it comes to challenges, we have also these opportunities sa maong corn production. Una they are trying our best. The Department of Agriculture is working hard, or the people of Department of Agriculture are working hard for the food prosperity and security and sustainability sa ato ang agriculture. Una ang high-yielding varieties. We have this availability of high-yielding OPV, the open pollinated varieties, and also hybrid, o gapil na ang GM. Both developed by both private and government institutions. Especially sa itong Institute of Plant Breeding, mo na ito ang office pod nga nag-try their best para formulate pa ka o release o mga high-yielding varieties sa corn. For the farm mechanization, we have this availability of new machineries, either locally fabricated or imported, like the corn planters, corn harvesters, mechanical dryers, stover, baler, or picker, etc. So, isa po na nga naguna ang field mech na to sa DA. For the corn livestock integration, so we also promote the silage production. Di lang ta sa mag-focus sa corn crop, kundi sa iyang punuan mismo nga magamit nato na as silage sa ato ang livestock, sa atong mga ruminants, sa atong mga baka o kabaw. For the production area expansion, we have this availability of additional corn production areas by utilizing the indigenous people's lands, our ancestral domain, and existing orchards. So, atong pinalangga po ni atong mga indigenous people, mga IPs. We also utilize their areas para pod matamnan og corn. And integrated farming as well, which we will talk about later. For the private sector investment, we have this willingness of the private sector to invest of the whole value chain, like to production, processing, and marketing, etc. So, nag-tie up na ato ang gobyerno sa mga private sector para mas maayo ang service or intervention nga mahatag nato sa mga farmers. And also for the market potentials, like increasing domestic demand for feeds, like the grains and silage, increasing demand for other uses like the oil, the starch, the flour, and the syrup. Nga ato ang gi-mention kaganiya nga, dako po na sila percentage sa maong uses sa corn. And for the corn export potentials like the grains and silage. The program goal, we have this from the Department of Agriculture, lead by our Secretary Dar, to transform farmers to be productive, ani, and profitable agripreneurs, kita, by adopting the strategies under the Plan program of the department. So we have this unified and 1DA approach nga amo ang gina-follow karon. And part of those general strategies is to survive, to reboot, and to grow the agriculture sector, especially sa atong corn productions, since we're talking the Cornversations. For the survive area, we have this enhanced production of corn and cassava. Kanang mga ipangstorya karon is what we did or what unsa pa pagabuhaton pa from the Department of Agriculture and to other partners ng mga offices or attached bureaus and agencies para makatabang sa atong farmers or sa ato ang agriculture sector. Una na ang enhanced production of corn and cassava for food and feeds. Integrate corn, cassava, sorghum with livestock, poultry, and high-value crops. So na gitawag nga integration nato ani. Mainstream the climate resiliency by adjusting planting dates in disaster risk areas to reduce damages. Sa kung gi-mention kaganiha, we have also this Climate Resilient Agriculture Office, the DA-CRAO, that lead also in this implementation. And also, the AMIA nga nagtapos sila sa muang office sa ATI nga in every training, especially the mga banner programs that we should implement, we should have this module or discuss sa mga AEWs or farmers ang AMIA. Mao na siya mga sa AMIA na mga tools nga pagabuhaton nga unsaon pag when and how and when it's the right timing, what's the sakto nga pagabuhaton when you plant certain plants ana. Amo po nang ginang lecture sa kanunay ng part ana to mainstream the climate change campaign. Ensure availability of high-yielding varieties with resistance to tolerance to droughts, pests, and diseases. And we also promote the consumption of corn grits, the pure or blended, and cassava as food staples. Like, kung di lang ta magsalik kanunay sa palay or humay, ari ta mukaon po ta og mga corn grits, atong gitawag nga bugas mais, no? Or na po uban ana pure nga mukaon ka nga mais, pwede po imong i-blend, like imong magsagol inig lungag nimo magsagol ka og bugas, kanang bugas humay, then magbutang po ka nag mais or corn grits. So blended form siya ba. Or kung dili jud ka ana, pwede po nato serve as food staples ang maong bulanghoy. Kay it's very rich in carbohydrates ang atong cassava nga ingod jud po nga maka-serve as staple nato mga katawhan. For the rebot, we have this production and post-production activities. We have distributed high-yielding and pest-resistant varieties, provision of fertilizers and soil ameliorants. So, ang Department of Agriculture ron is mag-provide yung fertilizer, bisag unsa pa na kamahal. Still, we have to give the farmers or provide farmers with the fertilizers and also giving them the options nga pwede sila mo gamit aning mga organic fertilizers or the bio-N. Kanang bio-N isa po na sa itong gina-promote karon. Ensure availability of reserves of buffer stock of seeds like the corn and sorghum and the pesticides. Provision of disease-free nga cassava planting materials. Kaya atong gi-mention kaganyan nga sa program sa corn ang cassava. So, most of the times pod maapil na to og lecture ang cassava. Capacitate farmers through conduct of trainings, establishment of technology demonstrations, and model farms. So, sa ATI, we conduct trainings to farmers. We give them inputs. After the training, we give them inputs or after training support. But for this year, this is the implementation of Mandana's ruling. So we go back to our AEWs or technicians. Sila na po namong i-train to capacitate them. In order for them to capacitate and to refresh or to give them the updates of the technologies and interventions of the Department of Agriculture para magamit nila sa ilahang tagsa-tagsa ka mga lungsod or ma-share nila sa to ang farmers para mas maayo ang serbisyo nga ilang mabuhat to farmers. And provision of farm machineries and post-harvest processing equipment and facilities. Ang Department of Agriculture gahatag jud ana no sa mga farmer associations in the Philippines nang puti mga clusters approach ani, especially the farmers organizations and association, ginatagaan jud na sila og farm machineries. Development and commercialization of appropriate technologies, and irrigation of crops by providing pumps and engine sets for shallow tube well and the open source. Another is promote the processing and marketing of corn, cassava, and sorghum products within the cluster. We have also support the rice corn blend project as I mentioned kaganiha na atay rice corn blend project nga pwede ra di ka mo totally kaon og humay, pwede po nimo sagulan og mais or kung dili jud pwede pod mas daghang part ang mais bugas compared to humay. Conduct of entrepreneurial and livelihood trainings. We also conducted this to ATI sa atong mga youth. We have so many programs and we have also the budget ani para mag-conduct og mga agribusiness. And provision of post-harvest and processing equipment and facilities. Now, nagkalalain man ang mga mandates or mga functions of the attached bureaus and offices sa DA. So as in the Agricultural Training Institute, we train farmers and also pero we train AEWs na, and we also help the farmers by having them a learning site kanang tabangan na mo, we give them grant and also technical expertise unsaon pag-improve sa ilang farm, and also for the youth. And there's so many programs and projects pang pagabuhaton sa Agricultural Training Institute para mabuhat na mo ang among vision and mission sa among opisina, which is the mission of the ATI is empowerment and building capacities of agriculture and fishery stakeholders for sustainable development, while the vision is food availability and affordability for every Filipino family through excellent extension services in agriculture and fishery stakeholders. And another part of the reboot is to export markets like production of quality corn and cassava products, either primary or byproducts for export markets, sama sa corn silage, blast freezed cassava tubers, fresh or dried cassava leaves, processed feeds, and processed food like the cassava chips. And also we have this farm clustering and consolidation, provide support for institutional development of clusters, engage the services of professional managers, and implement the no cluster, no assistance policy. Kani is angay pa nila akong pagatunan o pag-attend nga training, and na may training ani next year pokon sa clustering approach or clustering development about this no cluster, no assistance policy sa DA. And construction of more farm-to-market roads leading to corn, cassava, and sorghum production areas. Importante kayo jud na nga mag-construct ta og roads para dili lisod kayo nga i-travel or i-transport sa itong mga farmers ilang mga harvest or produce. Construction of post-harvest and processing facilities like the multi-crop drying pavement, the mechanical dryers, the corn post-harvest center, and the corn grades processing center. We have also this construction of small-scale irrigation projects such as the solar-powered irrigation system and spring development. We have also proposed work for higher budgetary support, higher budget to be proposed in 2022 and beyond. So of course, naradyo na sa to ang national pod kung pila ilang i-approve, but as part of the region or in the local, we need higher budget para more intervention, more services nga atong mahatag sa mga farmers. We support legislative measures for the corn industry, like an act supporting the development of the corn industry, establishing the Philippine Corn Industry Development Administration. Pursue a roadmap development, like consultation with the stakeholders for the updating of the commodity roadmaps, like the corn, cassava, and sorghum, spearheaded by the Planning and Monitoring Service sa DA. Partnership with private and business sector, all the LGUs and other agencies for the establishment of feed and food logistics infrastructure and marketing facilities. Of course, we cannot done this all alone without the help of our partners sa DA, like the private and business sector and the local government units. So isa man po sila sa mga implementer para mas maayo ang paghatag og project or programs or even the interventions sa DA. With that, I would like to say, before I end this, I would like to say that by working hard, with dedication and much unified efforts, we can achieve our ultimate. So, for our new leader, the DA offers also the list of agri-priorities for new admins for the first 100 days. And with our new president, President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos, we will expect more interventions and more services for the agriculture or the value chain analysis nga yung pagabuhaton. So, we'll keep in touch, and thank you for listening and watching. God bless us, and thank you. Kamais, mabuhay.
And we just learned from Mr. Jeffrey Awas the status and direction of the corn industry in the Philippines, where he shared the program components, average growth rates and yields, as well as the top 5 producing regions and provinces in 2020 to industry challenges and opportunities. And as promised, here's the first Agripa Premio question for this episode. The first 10 correct answers will receive a prepaid load from ATI in Central Visayas. To answer, please comment it below together with your full name and location. Are you ready? So here's the Agripa Premio question. Give 2 primary sources or uses of corn in Philippines industry. So comment your answer below and good luck. So there you go mga ka-agri friends in Central Visayas. See you tomorrow for another exciting episode of our Agritalk 2022 featuring Cornversations. Stay safe and goodbye.